Hello out there. Hello, and welcome back to your favorite LinkedIn live virtual interview style Veritas branded talk show. I'm talking, of course, of Veritas Live. And if it's not your favorite, just talk to me afterwards. I'm going to try to convince you. I'm your host. That's my name there. I will be ushering the conversation this morning. And if it is not the morning where you are, just substitute that word for whatever is most appropriate for you. Which brings me to my next question. I want to know where you are from. Help me spread some love to your city. We've got a global audience. We've got people all over, and I want to give some shout outs. I'm telling you, nothing makes me happier than when I can completely halt this episode and give some people some shout outs. So let me know. I'm pulling up the comment box right now. I want to know where you're coming in from, and don't stop the engagement there. Let us know in the comments what questions you have. How are you going to engage with our guests? What questions do you have for them? And today's episode is all around the business challenges with app modernization in a multi-cloud environment. Continue using the hashtag Veritas Live if you dare. We love it. We want to hear from you. You've got a voice, so use it. So let's give a tale of the tape how we got here. Vertana recently posted a survey suggesting that 82% of organizations are currently deployed in a multi-cloud environment. Now, that might not be surprising to everybody. It's surprising to some, but 78% of those organizations are actually deployed in 3 or more public cloud instances. And if that's not surprising, still 51% of those organizations say that they plan to adopt a new cloud instance by the end of 2022. And I don't know if you have a calendar nearby, but the kids just went back to school. So the end of the year is like tomorrow, which means we are just adopting more and more complexity. There's more and more push to cloud, to niche clouds for specific functions. So the question becomes, how do we manage all of this complexity? How do we protect, secure, and manage our applications? How do we protect, secure, and manage our data in this new multi-cloud world? So to help address some of these questions, we've gotten the help of one of our long-standing partners. This is a great episode. We have VMware. We have been partnering with VMware for over 2 decades. It's been a wonderful mutual collaboration partnership, starting with the inception of, we were design partners with the inception of virtualization at scale, which now we have 128 million protected virtual machines. So again, a collaborative partnership that benefits both our customer bases. We are now collaborating again as we move to this hybrid model, as we adopt more and more clouds. We are really trying to put our heads together, organizations together, to come up with an operational model that is going to make sure that we've got seamless operations for all of our customers, no matter where they are in their IT journey, no matter where they are in their cloud journey, to protect them from both IT today and future implementations or future changes. So thank you so much. I want to welcome one of our first guests here, Paul Turner. Welcome, product manager at VMware. Welcome to the program.
Hey, Johnny, thank you so much, and delighted to be here. So I'm Paul Turner, VP of products for the core platform area in VMware. So that includes vSphere that you know and love, and probably many of you have deployed. It includes our VMware Cloud Foundation, and basically all the infrastructure that we run on our cloud services that we run on public clouds. So great to be here. Looking forward to catching up with you and Rags.
Perfect. You're going to be a great guest today. And not to be outdone, we've got the other half of the equation, the other side of the coin, the yin to the yang. Rags Srinivasan, welcome to the show, Rags.
All right, Johnny, thank you very much. Nice to work with you and Paul today. So I'm a VP of products for software-defined storage, application resiliency, and our net backup appliances that makes it easier to consume the net backup everywhere. I'm happy to be talking about applications. I know we have a lot to talk about from your statistics. Let's go with you.
I didn't plan this, so I don't know how this is going to work, but let's just see. I got the king of scale meeting our ace in the hole, VMware. Oh gosh, how'd that look on camera? Is that good? Is that okay? Did I mess up? All right. If you guys have watched any episode of Veritas Live before, you know we can't just jump right into the waters of conversation. We need to ease ourselves in. So we do this through a little icebreaker. So today's icebreaker, because I love these analogies, these metaphors, we're going to move into the cinematic universe, and I'm going to ask, Rags, I'll start with you. Can you describe, I guess, the journey to the cloud, or where we are with cloud in movie format? What movie kind of encapsulates this journey?
Yeah, I know I watch a lot of movies, but if I think about talking to many customers, what it reminds me of, the one movie that pops out is Wizard of Oz. Think about it. The movie starts out black and white. Think of it like you are an on-prem and you're moving around. You think of there is a better world that is out there. And suddenly when you land in the Oz, there's so much complication, so many new things. And then you find there's actually like one person behind the curtain pulling everything. And you find, I want to go back home. And you're looking for what's my path to go back home. So all these things, metaphors roll into each other. It's really that one movie that reminds me like Journey to the Cloud. I'm back.
I like it. If only you could get your data back from the cloud by clicking your heels 3 times.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
Paul, same question.
Sure. I'm actually going to pick on a classic California. It's become a classic California movie, Free Solo. So if anybody knows rock climbing at all, Alex Honnold made this amazing attempt at climbing El Capitan. Free solo, no ropes, right? Basically, it's one of the most amazing challenges. But what it also shows is it took very careful planning. He was at this for 4 or 5 years. It became his entire life, but he had to very carefully plan his route and his approach. And the destination is clearly a great achievement. It can really help. It great rewards at the end of it, but careful planning, and certainly not for all as well. There's results that you can get at the end of it, but there's not a one size fits all. So I think it actually teaches us, the cloud is not something to take lightly. It's something to take in a very planned way, and it actually fits certain applications in a very structured way. And if you haven't seen the movie, go see it. It's
oh my goodness,
movie, and it's all California.
This movie is so wild. I was sweating profusely watching this movie. Go watch it. This guy climbs one of the most challenging rock formations without anything, and you're seeing him. He's got one finger in the rock, and that's it. And if he falls, there's implications there. So great. Thank you guys so much. I want to give some shout outs out there. We got somebody from India, Boston. I love it. Utah, Seattle, San Jose, Atlanta, India, Tampa, United Kingdom. We are all over the map. I like it. And Tampa, my Florida brethren, thank you so much for joining in. So now we're talking about the business challenges with app modernization in this new multi-cloud era that we're ushering into, but kind of want to set a baseline, a foundation here. So Paul, I'm going to pass it over to you. What does it actually mean when we're saying app modernization? What does it mean to modernize an application?
Well, I think the number one thing that we're looking for is how do I get more agility into my business, right? So the goal of modernizing an app, there's not an end game in modernizing an app. The benefit is how do I bring more agility to the business? And I think there's different aspects that you need to kind of look at. You need to look at kind of profiling. I mentioned about profiling your applications earlier, but you need to profile your applications, and those that just are running well, they're running good service levels. I'll retain them on the current environments that they have. And I may keep them in the same location. I may rehost my application to decide this is a contained application that I can rehost up to the cloud. I can decide to re-platform it, which is to bring it onto a new platform. Maybe I enable it onto a cloud-based infrastructure or Kubernetes-based infrastructure. We should also think about the fourth one here on the list. You can actually see a little graphic below here, but the fourth one you could look at is, should I retire those applications? Is it time to, obsolete those applications? There's no use in modernizing an application. And then lastly, and where some of the biggest gains will come from is where I can build actually new applications, and I can componentize that application. I can build it so that I can, as a DevOps team, I'm able to take, containers and update the container for the security piece without updating, live while the application is still running, and being able to do that in a very dynamic way. So you really, modernizing an application is not a one size fits all. Mm-hmm. Modernizing can mean modernizing to the data center. You may decide to just retain the current one I have and put in better service level monitoring, better assurance, better guarantees. And then, as you look at going forward from a software development point of view, modernizing is all about component agility, the ability for you to be able to update parts of the application. Effectively, if you think of virtualization, we've been virtualizing infrastructure. With modernizing application and containers, we're virtualizing the application. We're componentizing the application and gives us that same ability to have dynamic updates. That's to me what modernizing is, and not one size fits all.
So then along those same lines, and I'm going to stick with you, Paul. What are those challenges? What are those key challenges when organizations are moving those applications and moving data to multiple cloud instances?
So I think one of the biggest challenges is the CIO mandate, right? Which is a very dangerous one, which basically says we're just going to move to the cloud. We're going to move everything to the cloud. Let's just get there, and I want it done in 6 months, or I want it done in a year. That's actually an incredibly dangerous thing, because the right thing to do, and very smart companies, I've seen companies do it really well, is profile your applications. Go and organize them into buckets. Understand where there's data affinity, where there's data gravity. You can't easily move lots of applications, lots of data around. So understand those type of applications. Understand very data-centric ones. Understand your security profile. And then look at where are new applications that you can modernize. And I think if you take those aspects, you'll do well. So first, it's not just a corporate mandate. That's one big problem. The second is understanding your applications. And then the third is you really you mentioned the multi-cloud world, the multiverse, the clouds used by 78% of the companies out there, at least that's what they have confirmed on surveys. You've then got to have a platform and an ability to move applications and services and to get the same service level management and monitoring across those clouds. So those are the few aspects I would point.
Rags, what do you think?
Yeah, I would echo a lot of what Paul is saying. So let me add to it like 4 things that we're seeing when we talk to several customers, and depending on what stage they are in the cloud journey. Actually, Paul's right about saying like most of them start with the mandate. It's that Wizard of Oz thing, that tornado that comes in there and picks you up and moves you to the cloud, right? Like you're given by a mandate. So the first thing that the people run into when they try to take any mandate or whatever directive to move to cloud is how manual it is. Like you have these, before your application modernization is done, you have these monoliths and other applications, even if it is containerized, you first find, for me, to just pick it up, my mission critical applications, and then move to a cloud. It's a real manual process. It takes time and effort to just do the migration. It's not one click and you're done. Move over there. No clicking the heels there, as you said, Johnny. And then the second part is, okay, like I want to move my applications. What are the tools I need? There's no one tool. You have to pass together a collection of disparate tools. Some of them don't even work together, like 5, 6, 7 tools that are needed to migrate and make them take them to the cloud, and then get them to be running at the same level and SLAs that you used to get when you're running them on-prem. So this is too many of those tools. And imagine that when you have so many tools, the maintenance upgrades of those is going to fall on your shoulders there as well. And then the third, go ahead.
No. I love that you both are weaving in the movie metaphors to some of these answers. I think it's perfect. No, go ahead with point number 3.
The third one is like, it's not one application. That most of the people find like they cannot just make the decision in a silo. Again, Paul saying like there's no individual maybe climbing that mountain, but you need the team. You need your network, software team. Everybody needs to be aligned to break the silos and move them together. And then finally, I'll put this point there, like it's kind of a misconception, not necessarily a challenge in moving to cloud, but everybody will say they are on a cloud journey. Everybody would say their CIO, CTO mandate to move to the cloud. But then we find out really, despite that so many multi-cloud statistics and everything that you showed, people are still in the very early stages of the cloud journey. It's not that everybody moved in perfectly running. If you look at their cloud journey, it's still early stages. So we can help and see what are the best practices and help get them there faster.
Yeah, and I think I would just kind of add to that cloud is not always just up to, a public hyperscaler. You can actually implement cloud services in your company at scale. You can implement hyperscaler kind of cloud services. You can have SaaS type cloud services. In fact, most people are actually deploying SaaS type applications. That's where the bulk of it, the IaaS applications are probably the 25% of cloud services. So profiling your applications, understanding which ones I can run on my public cloud, which ones I can run on my private cloud, and then looking at how do I manage that? How do I orchestrate that? How do I secure that? And the security perimeter is a huge working across multiple clouds, as people are already dealing with.
So now, and I know that there's going to be some overlap here because there's a lot of organizations moving to the cloud, and they're moving at an exponential rate, and they're moving to multiple clouds. We all have very similar challenges, but the question is, even though we understand these challenges, what still are those common mistakes that organizations are falling into as they're modernizing these applications and modernizing this data for the cloud?
All right, I'll take this for Johnny. For a new modernized application moving to the cloud, I would call it as blind spots in your cloud journey. I mean, when any journey that you plan, if you are able to map out what you're going to be, the surprises, pitfalls, blind spots, then you're going to have a much smoother journey in anticipating rather than coming to that point and then be surprised by it. So that, I call it 4 blind spots that people are still surprised by and should be better prepared for. Number 1, okay, you move to the cloud, guess what? You don't get a freebie on your SLAs. Your SLA stays the same. Yes, you may show a cost cutting or other things, but your business applications still need to run the same level of availability as it used to be. But on the other hand, you know that its cloud does not solve all your availability problem. Your responsibility does not go away for your applications. The cloud infrastructure, let's say the public cloud, they are responsible for keeping up the cloud, keeping up the infrastructure, the resiliency of the cloud they're responsible for. But the resiliency of your applications in the cloud is still your responsibility. This comes as a surprise to most people. They think, oh, cloud takes care of everything. Move the applications, server goes down and comes back up. They say the applications are not synced up or get into an unknown state. You lost your availability. You may even lose your brand value, your business value, because of your applications are not running. So this is number 1 blind spot. Number 2, let's go back to clicking the heels. How portable is your migration? Yeah, you picked up and moved the applications. You keep running. Then comes a situation at a point in time, you decide maybe a different cloud is a better option than where you moved. So maybe you moved first because of whatever the current drivers are, but a better option like an analytics cloud is available or something else that you want to move to that cloud. Or in some cases, you may want to move back home because you think you can run better. As Paul pointed out, cloud does not always have to be that public cloud. You may be able to build out a better cloud-like hyperscale infrastructure on your own as well. So you want to move back those applications. You'll find that most people find moving to cloud is a one-way ticket. It creates a lock-in. So you need to be aware, the day you move in, you need to ask, can I repatriate back? Is there a reverse gear? Can I click my heels and come back home there as well? And then the third part is moving to cloud. We talked about the manual part before. It is a complex process. It needs people, it needs skills, training, especially multi-cloud. You gave us statistics of 83% or so using multi-cloud. Think of the cloud skills that are needed for different cloud providers. It's going to be different, right? So you need to be prepared for, do I really want to have an army of people for managing different clouds? Or is there a common set of tools that helps me mask out, makes it transparent to whatever my cloud I'm choosing? So I focus on my applications and not be bothered by the variances in the different clouds I go to. And finally, the last point, the biggest surprise of all, everyone says cloud is cheap, right? Going to cloud, I'm cutting costs, everything is going to be cheaper. Guess what? If you want performance, especially performance storage in the cloud, you're going to be in for a surprise. Performance storage costs a lot, and people mostly find it in the form of a bill surprise that comes back, well, I used to get this performance, I dialed the same way in the cloud, but my cloud bill went up. So those are the 4 blind spots people should be prepared for.
Yeah, very, very good points there. Paul, what do you think?
Yeah, I actually think Rag summarized it really, really well. I want to kind of pick on the kind of multi-cloud, the tendency to build an app, move to the cloud quickly, and kind of build it in a custom way per cloud. And then you get into the situation where it's very difficult for you to potentially move. You may be in a situation like hardware vendors. We've been selling into infrastructure for a long time. And there is no big company out there that would ever depend on a single hardware vendor for their environment. They would always have arbitrage situations. So they have multiple hardware vendors. So they have the ability to actually do cost management, to be able to get the best from my vendor and be able to switch vendors if I need to, if I'm not happy with their service level. And sometimes in the cloud, mass adoption that we've done through, I think people are getting more calculated about it. You can see that in the stat that you mentioned. But the initial fervor of moving to the cloud meant we sometimes got into a situation of lock-in. So you really must be very conscious of that. The good news is the industry is helping you, right? Whether it's from Veritas, whether it's from VMware, whether it's looking at something like Kubernetes, right? Kubernetes is an orchestration platform, but one of the big benefits is and remember, we can manage VM applications now with our Kubernetes offerings. We can manage containerized applications, which are these componentized applications that we build. But the benefit really is that I can actually run now an application. I can deploy it onto a Kubernetes infrastructure that would run on Google Cloud, that would run on AWS, that would run on Azure, that would run on-prem, on VMware. I could run it on open source offerings. The benefit, I've got more portability in the application. Yes, the infrastructure is the same, but the portability of the application layer is there. And it means we can actually start monitoring, doing SLA assurance on those applications because we're building them on top of a kind of orchestration platform. So the combination of, and virtualizing where you can across the platforms, get common virtualization layers, but virtualize your applications with Kubernetes, I think is a direction that I think all people will go to over time. And that includes for their VM applications.
Okay, well then I'm going to stick with you there because that really leads me to my last question. We always have this forward-looking future-feeling question, and the way that we're moving, the way that we're innovating. What is that next big challenge for businesses? How can we do more of a pre-mortem to understand what those challenges are going to be as they modernize their applications and services for that next evolution of the cloud?
So I don't know whether I think in the future, it's not so much on the businesses and what they need to do. I actually think it's a responsibility of us in the industry. And the responsibility of us in the industry is to deliver for you that multi-cloud, SLA-driven platform that allows portability, that allows orchestration of applications independent of the cloud. I like to call it virtualizing the cloud. We virtualized infrastructure before. We need to virtualize the cloud because you shouldn't be dependent on any single cloud provider. But more importantly, your security profile for your data center should be able to should be independent of location that you're deploying to, public cloud services, on-prem services. Your SLAs that you're managing should be independent of the cloud service. So really important for me is that the industry owns a responsibility of delivering multi-cloud services to you that give you independence of the cloud and independence of even someone like VMware. You shouldn't be tied to us as a platform. You should be able to move and orchestrate applications up to the public cloud services or repatriate applications from public cloud services back onto VMware infrastructure. But the industry owns that responsibility.
Rags, what are your thoughts there? Yeah, Johnny, I would build off of what Paul just said. There's a saying there is no real multi-cloud, it's really multiple clouds. So you end up, what I mean by that is you end up managing each one by itself. It's not one transparent, like what Paul said, as a virtualized way to manage it. I would compare this to like your bank accounts. You may have many different bank accounts and credit cards, but think of an application app like a Mint app that brings all your brokerage and bank and credit cards, everything together, and helps you manage all your credits, debits, expenses, everything in one unified way. It doesn't matter whether you used one particular credit card in a coffee shop or the other, right? You still see, what are all my coffee spending? Which don't look at mine, is going to be very high usually. there. So that's the kind of, it's again, the kind of a unified Mint-like multi-cloud management tool is needed. That's not a customer responsibility. It's really, as Paul said, it falls on us who are working, like people like Veritas and VMware working together to help build this kind of ease of use, transparency, single pane of glass management, regardless of where their workloads and data is located, to make that easier for the customer. Also for the customers, the part of like migration is going to be key. Like today, it's all about just going one way. As your workloads go, as your needs change, as new applications come up, because your data scientists and others are coming up with something new every day. So the needs are going to change. So you need that migration flexibility, the portability that is needed. So that also, again, falls on us and the cloud service providers to work together to make that easier for customers.
I like it. Well, yeah, go ahead, Paul.
Oh, no, I think it's actually great. I do want to reemphasize that security profile as well. You know, you think multi-cloud security has to be, it's probably one of the biggest stumbling blocks you're going to hit is your own internal IT security team who will have a certain level of expectations for your infrastructure. So don't forget about that. Really important. Anytime you're kind of moving to the cloud, it's going to be your first questions to answer.
Like application resiliency, security is also a shared responsibility. Like again, like cloud does their part. Customer has a part that you take care of for security. That becomes important.
Yeah, it's that proper expectation setting is that C-level initiative to move to the cloud, that Wizard of Oz style tornado sweeps you up. And it's the free solo example of proper planning, making sure that as we're free soloing this massive 3,000 foot flat rock face, that we know every single move that we're going to make from beginning to end. So there's a lot of planning involved. There's a lot of expectations there, but I want to thank you both for being here, the Veritas VMware team. Paul, Rags, I really appreciate your knowledge. I really appreciate the sentiments that you both bring to today's episode. So thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Johnny and Paul. Thank you.
Had some fun today, and I want to give a shout out to the viewers. You guys made it this far. Give yourselves a pat on the back, a round of applause. Thank you for checking in. Thank you for engaging, but just know that you can continue consuming Veritas Live. We are on YouTube. Go watch past episodes there. You can watch past episodes on LinkedIn as well. Like, comment, subscribe, do all those things that you do on the socials. You know what I'm talking about. And don't forget to join us at VMware Explore on August 29th through September 1st. Veritas is going to have a booth there at 1501 there in San Francisco. So come check us out. Let us know you heard about it on Veritas Live, and maybe we'll give you a piece of Veritas swag for your swag bag. Who knows? As always, thank you so much. We will see you right back here soon for the next episode of Veritas Live. We'll see you.